Welcome back to another episode of Let Love Be Your Guide. My name is Dominique Chantel, and I will be guiding you through this experience. Today, we are going to be talking about living your best life, and I have none other than I am so honored to have her on my show, Life Coach Vaughn. Life Coach Vaughn, can you just introduce yourself and welcome to the show? Welcome to Let Love Be Your Guide. How are
Thank
you today?
you. Thank you so much, Queen. I am humbly grateful to be a part of your show. Thank you so much for the invitation.
You're
I am
welcome.
better than amazing, as always. It is another day above ground, so I am
Yes,
always better than amazing.
yes.
Just to introduce myself, my name is Jonvoana. I go by Life Coach Vaughn. I am passionate about helping women understand the importance of being fly. And that's first loving yourself. And that's such an important concept because it helps to put things into perspective that it's harder for you to live a true sense of fulfillment in life if
Yes,
you do not take care of yourself first,
sir.
right?
Yes.
And one of the main things that I've been really focusing on lately is helping successful career driven women discover and pursue their passion and purpose outside of their titles and their roles. So that's just a tiny about me.
Okay, well, that's amazing. I actually met you through Instagram, and I felt like our souls connected because I said, "Man, you can really see that she loves herself," and so this vibrant personality. So you don't just look the part, but you can feel it even through Instagram. So that is amazing. So I just want to commend you on that and to
Thank
say
you.
that we need more of you, Life Coach Vaughn, right?
Thank you. Thank you.
So while we get into our episode, I want to go ahead and ask you, how did you begin your journey? So how did your journey of self-love start?
That's a great question, and it's a very interesting story, and I'll keep it kind of condensed as much as
So we
possible.
want the juice like
Y'all want the juice? Y'all want the juice?
yeah.
Well, the thing is, and this is well over 10 years ago, back in 2010, I was going through a very hard, ugly divorce. I
Mm.
had had three beautiful children, three beautiful daughters from that marriage. But the thing was, it's interesting. Even before I got into the marriage, I knew I shouldn't have. But I
Mhm.
did what everybody else told me that I should do because I was in the church, right? I was in the church very heavy, and they was like, "Oh, you got pregnant with one, y'all shacking up. You need to go ahead and just make it right." So I'm like, you know what? Let me put my big girl panties on and move forward with this
Right.
because understand this, that was part of them, part of that was them, but part of it, of course, was me as well, right?
Right.
I was raised in a household with three other siblings. Each one
Okay.
of us had different fathers. And I said that I did not want to
Mhm.
ever put my children through the same thing. So after I had my first daughter, anyway, I was like, girl, you might as well go ahead and make this work and just so you can have all your kids by one guy, right?
Yeah.
So they prompted it, they really pushed it, and I was like, you know what? That hey, let me make sure I don't send my children through what I went through growing up,
Right.
right? So with that being said, it was a very unhealthy situation. There
Okay.
was no physical violence or abuse,
Mhm.
but our spirits just really weren't aligned at all. At all. I stayed in the marriage for years, around about 8, 9 years. I stayed in it and attempted to make it work, right? And
Right.
that's when I consumed myself with being a wife, being a mother, being a excellent church member on the choir and
Right.
dance and all of these titles and things. All
Right.
these years had passed by and I was unhappy, but masking all of this unhappiness
Mm.
with all of this activity, right?
Mhm.
So if you can recall back in 2008, it wasn't a pandemic, if you will, but it was a major housing crisis, right? And I was in the title industry, so I worked in the real estate industry. and
Okay.
I had helped him get his, weight up, and he was doing home improvements and things of that nature. So when that crash, if you will, happened back in 2008,
Mm-hmm.
that's when we had to face the music, right? It
Right.
was another time to slow down and
Right.
be truthful about some situations that you're in. So, with all of that being said, when that happened, I was like, I can't do this no more.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't. I
Mhm.
cannot do this no more. The environment was unhealthy for our daughters. I didn't want them to see me in a situation like that. We had no true like connection. It was literally toxic at
Yeah.
different points throughout the relationship. So when I decided to walk away, it took me 3 times to leave before I officially left. Right. And you
Okay.
know how it is. I've heard a little bit of your story as well.
Yeah.
Before we physically leave, we spiritually,
Yeah.
emotionally, and
Yes.
mentally check out.
Yes.
So by the time we truly get the heart up to leave out, we've already checked out.
Yep. Yep.
So I went through that cycle of, you know what, I left. I was like, I can't do this. I left, and then I came back for God. That was the first thing. God, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this. I don't want to break my vow to you. And then I
Right.
was like, you know what? He does not want me unhappy. That
Right.
is a lie because I cannot walk in my fullness. I can't
Right.
walk in the power that he has for me if
Absolutely.
I am tied to something that is not of him. You see what
Right.
I'm saying? So I was
Absolutely.
like, you forgiven me, amen, right?
Yes.
Then
Yes.
I went back for the children, right?
Mm.
I was like, man, I don't want my children to have to experience. I was breaking generational curses with the
Yes.
finance component,
Yes.
with having all of my children by one person, right?
Yes.
I
Yes.
was breaking generational curses. So I went back for that and I was like, nope. They was noticing, the tension, and it wasn't a good place for them to be. And the third time I decided to go back, it was trivial, right? But it was for things.
Okay.
The house was in my name. We had cars and all this. It was a lot of things. And I was like, you know what? I'll get it back. I don't care.
Right.
So
Like
at that
when you're
point,
ready to go, you go.
I was like, you can have it
Have it.
all.
Oh my gosh.
You can have it all. The house was in my name. The mortgage itself was in my name. So that ended up going into foreclosure because he wouldn't leave and allow me to sell it. I left clothes. I left cars. I left everything, Queen. And I said, as long as I have my daughters, God, and my sanity, I will start from the bottom,
Yes.
right? I will
Yes.
start over.
Yes.
My peace of mind means so much more to me than anything.
Yes.
So, with that whole process, the whole fly journey started when I was self reflecting. I was like, "Vaughn, how in the world did you
Yeah.
even get there?
Yeah.
Why was that even okay to be in that situation? Because obviously you truly didn't love yourself. How much
Right.
you're saying that you love yourself.
Right.
So that was the first thing. It was taking some time to really self reflect and say, what part did you play in this?
Yeah.
Which is, I've developed this theory or a blueprint. I call it a blueprint or a cycle. And this is what I take my butterfly queens through. There
Okay.
are 5 stages of fly.
Okay.
First one is self awareness. And we do that by way of self reflecting. The
Okay.
second one is self forgiveness. The third one is self correcting, and that is creating boundaries,
Okay.
limiting access.
Okay.
The fourth one is self love, but it's not just self love of taking care of yourself physically. We're talking about self development. We're talking
Okay.
about emotionally. We're talking about spiritually. We're talking about the true self love that is more than just surface, right?
Yes. Right.
Understanding who you are at your core, that type of self,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the fifth stage is the maintenance stage. It is saying that I am going to choose to do this continuously. That's
Right.
why it's a cycle, it don't stop, right?
Right.
So that's really where my journey of being fly, first loving yourself, really started. I was lost. I was like, girl, who are you?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
were a mother, you were a daughter, you were this church, you were all of these things.
Yes.
Who are you at your core,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
that self awareness, by taking time to really peel back the layers, is where my first loving yourself journey started.
Wow, that is amazing. And we, like you said, our stories are very similar. But one thing that stuck out to me that you said was ignoring that intuition.
Mhm,
You know, if you can talk about how important that is, as just not even as a woman, but just as a person,
mhm,
we
mhm,
get these little inklings, and it's like, ooh, you'll hear a little voice to say, hey, don't do that, or you'll just feel it, but we still go on with it anyway. It could be the relationship, it could be a job, you
mhm,
know, or just a little small voice to say, hey, turn here or don't do that. And we
mhm,
ignore those things. If you
mhm.
can talk about how important that is in living your best life, and two, also, how can that allow you, like, why do we ignore that voice? Why do we do that?
Absolutely, absolutely. And those are great questions. And intuition is very, it's huge.
Yeah.
It is uh I like to call it our internal guidance
Yes.
system,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And here's the thing about your internal guidance system. We all have them.
Right.
We all have them. However, the voice, it's almost like, and I like to think about it as like a GPS,
Yeah.
right? We have the option to mute out that GPS because we don't want to hear the voice because we think we know best,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
We like, no, 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 I gone down. And the GPS is like, boo, I'm in the background calculating and doing the algorithm for
Yes.
how to help you get to the proper destination with as least amount of detours and obstacles as much as possible. I
Yes.
see the bigger picture,
Yes.
right? And what we do is, no, I'm gonna go with no, and we mute it. That's the
Oh,
first thing, right?
yes. Yes.
First, that's why we really don't listen to it because we really are 9 times out of 10, especially if we're not aligned, right?
Yes. Yes.
Alignment is huge, and that comes by way of meditation. That comes by way
Yes.
of, and I
Mm,
believe in God, right?
yes.
I don't push my beliefs off on anybody else, but
Right.
I believe in God. I
Right.
believe in Jesus, right?
Yes.
I believe in relationship more than I believe in religion,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
And then there's an alignment there of source. And
Yes.
if you understand that there is something, someone bigger and greater than you understand that your tiny eye cannot see it all.
Yes.
Sees the bigger picture and he's attempting to download things to us to say, hey, I recommend that you not go down that route. And us in our humanness, us in our flesh, we decide to either turn it down
Mhm.
because we think we know better, or we tend to mute it, right?
Right.
Because again, we can only see things from our perspective, just a few steps ahead. But
Right.
it's extremely important for us to listen to that voice because, again, for I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord.
Yes.
Plans to prosper you and not harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. So when you're feeling that gut thing, he's like, hey, I'm trying to help you out.
Hell yeah.
Need you to listen, right? So
Yes.
it is definitely important for us to have because we're spiritual beings,
Yeah.
right? We are three part, right? And I know we can go down the rabbit hole of saying four, right? Because some people
Right.
believe the soul and spirit are
Right.
separate.
Right.
But we have these different parts of us, and unfortunately, we forget about that.
Yeah.
So when we see things with our physical eyes, we
Mhm.
always want to please that part. We want to please the flesh. And
Mhm.
that's why we choose to go that route and ignore the spiritual side of us. But it's extremely important because, again, it sees, it knows, it's an
Right.
internal guidance system.
Absolutely. So I always say that we are spiritual beings living a physical experience. So to
Absolutely.
your point, just us being able, just like you said, physically seeing, but then your spirit is like, I see something bigger, like
Absolutely.
don't do that, it's warning you. So that
Mhm.
is that is a great point.
Mhm.
Next I want to talk about, and here's something, because I grew up in the church. You
Mhm.
mentioned about growing up in the church, and I feel in the church that I feel like the church does a great job at telling you what to do, how to do it, when to do it. Kind of like, for me, it was like fear based. Like,
Mhm. Mhm.
don't do this.
Fire and brimstone.
Yeah,
Fire and brimstone.
right.
You crazy going to hell.
Yes, you're going to hell if you do this. I'm like, wait a minute.
Right, right, right,
I can't do nothing.
right, right.
But it didn't really dawn on me that God is a loving God. And
Absolutely.
it is us, when we make decisions, there are consequences to our decisions.
Absolutely.
And so it goes from, not, God doesn't want to punish us. God is absolutely the opposite. He wants to love on us. He wants us to have an abundant life, right?
Mhm, mhm,
And so in the church, like you said, it was kind of like, you need to stay married, or you need to do this, just based on, the church's standards.
mhm,
How do we get away from that and just, coming into our own? Because I'll be honest, it didn't take me, um, I would say, in my 30s to be like, you know what, it's about relationship for me. Like you said, I
absolutely.
believe in God, I believe in Christ. It's about relationship. And
Mhm,
religion for me, I'm like, I
mhm,
don't buy into that fact. It has helped me a
mhm,
little, but as far as
mhm,
having a relationship, like, how do you think that, how do we get away from that? How do we like infuse the two?
mhm.
How can we make that work?
Absolutely. That you're spot on with it when it comes down to relationship, right? One of the key parts that you said is when we were growing up in church, right?
Mm-hmm.
We
Mm-hmm.
were being taught,
Yes.
right?
Right.
And when you're being taught, you take their word for the word,
Word.
which
Yes.
is not the way that it goes. The
Right.
Bible literally says, my people perish for a lack of knowledge, right? A lack of understanding, a lack of wisdom, right? Depending on what version you read, you're going to get all of those words,
Right.
right? Also, when you think about understanding, when you think about knowledge, when you think
Mhm.
about wisdom, you think
Yeah.
about intimacy.
Yes.
Woo!
Yes.
I know
You
you,
feel
right?
it.
I know you, right? It's different.
Yeah.
It's a difference when you are made aware of somebody, but when you get
Right.
intimate with
Yeah.
them, you
Ooh.
no longer have to go through other people to understand your rights and wrongs,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I can
Yes.
go straight to my father and say,
Lord.
God, here, I am in my most vulnerable state. You know me, you made me, and I'm a hot mess,
Yes.
right? We
Yes. Yes.
literally can talk to him like that because he's like,
Right.
I get it, right?
Yep.
I
Yep.
became flesh so I could experience these things as well. I am forever connected to you. So
Right.
I believe, to answer your question, where it starts is gaining a relationship and detaching yourselves from what people are forcing, if you will, on you, right? They want you to subscribe to their methods and their thoughts, right? When
Right.
I have my father, when I started learning, and that's for another time, when I finally met my dad at
Right.
my biological father at the age of 19, even though he was my biological father, I did not know him.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to talk to him. I had to be in a relationship with him. I was like, it's cool. Don't expect me to call you dad,
Yeah.
right? Like, you gotta earn
Yes.
this position. And I
Yes.
believe it's the same way when it comes to our heavenly father. That's
Right.
where it comes with reading the Bible and doing study and
Yeah.
not just taking it for the versions that we see. That means doing research. That
Right.
means praying and saying, God, reveal yourself to me, whether
Yeah.
it is through people, whether it is through a song, whether it is through a message. I
Right.
want to see you for who you are so we can become intimate. And
Right.
that has to be our request, Queen. That's how we got to really decide. And we got to want that. right?
Right.
Some people are good with going to church and letting people tell them stuff.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
I'm like, yep. I like this term, trust but verify.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I like that one.
What you say? When I read it, I can't
Right.
get that. But let me, and that's
Right.
what we've been doing for so long,
Oh,
right? We've
yeah.
been taking people and they're human just like us. They can
Right.
make their own interpretation of the Bible so that it can work sometimes in their favor, right?
Right. Right.
Remove the sting from the word because, like you said, God, He's so
Love.
compassionate,
Oh my
right?
God.
He is so
Listen.
he loves us. He like, look, I got you, boo. There's no condemnation.
Listen, when I think about the love of God, it gives me like I want to cry
Mhm,
because that's just I feel it. You
mhm,
know, when you get in a space and like you said, you've been intimate with him
mhm,
and you can break out in a worship. Girl, I was in the gym the other day, in the gym now, a worship song came on and I was just waving my hand. I know people was like, what's wrong with her? Listen, I'm to the point in my life, I do not care. I
nope,
will worship. I will put my hands up. When it hit me, it
mhm,
hit me. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? So,
Absolutely.
but I feel his love and his
Mhm,
presence. And I'm like, man, if we can just get that feeling to everybody, if they can feel God's love. And that's why I think, well, I know that's why your message resonates with me so much is the fact that you are pushing people and helping them to learn to love themselves and recognize the flaw in themselves. If they can just
absolutely.
feel the love, of God in this, it's just amazing. It's mind-blowing to me. Um I want to, okay, get on, just go back to your story
Okay.
really quickly. I want to touch on, you said that one of the reasons that you stayed was for the kids.
Mhm, mhm,
And I believe in our society, we are taught that we do things for our kids. That's just it, hands down.
mhm.
You go back, but I want to talk about how did you finally, okay, get up the courage to say, it's not about, yes, I love my kids. How did you get up the courage to say, I have to leave because I know it would be in their best interest if I stay? This
Mhm.
would probably be a toxic situation. And I love myself enough to know I have to leave in order to become the best version of myself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have a quote that I say, I rather die wandering, Wandering,
Mhm.
than to die wondering,
Mm,
Wondring.
mm.
I
Wow.
had to. I'd rather get out there and figure it out and feel my way out
Right.
versus wondering if there is better for me.
Yeah.
Like I knew, you know, I felt like it was like death.
Mm.
I felt stagnated. I felt suffocated.
Right.
And it ain't no way if I'm feeling this way.
Right. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
ain't no way that my babies are not feeling this tension and this
Yeah.
cloud and this heaviness,
Yeah.
And I even talked to them, even of course to this day, and I was very just, transparent in what was taking place in the situation. I
Right.
don't believe in necessarily withholding, no, not bashing. Oh, he did this,
Right.
no, but just letting them know the real about what was taking place and kind of why it was taking place. And we
Right.
talk about it to this day. When um, I first left, the oldest was 10. So they were 10, 5, and uh, 4, 2. Yeah, 3. 10, 5. So that was their ages when I, separated from their father.
Okay.
And now they're 23, 18, well, about to be to 23, 18, and 16.
Wow. Okay.
Right, so this was quite some time ago, and I'll talk to them periodically, and of course, I'm happily remarried, and I'll
Yes.
talk to them about it, and they have a relationship with their dad. They go and see him every other weekend, and things have kind of worked out over the years, right?
Right, right.
They worked out over the years. It took some time, right?
Yes,
Let's be
I
clear,
know.
right? Let's be
Listen,
clear.
yeah.
It took some time, but I even asked them, I was like, are you glad that I made that? And they're like, yep. I'm glad you made that decision, my life.
Yes,
We
yes,
see it, we understand, we know, right?
right,
And I bring that up to say is a couple of things. One, our children are a lot tougher than we really understand.
yes.
They are really, and I get it, we say that they are fragile, and yes, some of them may be, but they can handle some
I
stuff.
do. Yes,
Our children truly can handle some things, and I really got to speak for my daughters. They were able to navigate this situation. So when I say I'd rather die wandering, I was letting them know, all right, this is what's about to happen. We
right,
about to leave all of this.
right.
We about to go stay with Aunt Leisha for a while. And that's my sister that I often talk about. We were sleeping on the floor and couches of
Mm,
her apartment, 2-bedroom apartment
yeah,
condo for, several months, almost even a year. And
yeah,
I told them, I said, I just need y'all to trust mommy. Give
yeah.
me every 2 years, we're going to step our game up.
Mm,
Y'all just, I promise y'all,
yeah,
literally, Queen, every 2 years we moved to our own place. Yeah, we were still sleeping on the floors, right?
yeah, yeah,
But we got it furnished. We moved to a 2-bedroom apartment. Then we moved to a 3-bedroom apartment. Then we moved to a 3-bedroom townhome. And now we have our 5-bedroom, 5-bathroom home. Beautiful single family home, right?
yes,
It's
yes,
all about, and again, to your question is, how do you finally make a decision that I'm going to do this and I need to do this?
right,
Understand,
yeah,
God does not want you in a compromising situation where you cannot give him the glory.
yeah,
If at all if you were created to worship and you feel like that you cannot openly worship or be your fullest in a situation, how can he bless that? How
yeah,
can your voice is gone? Your
yeah,
your head is somewhere else. How can you walk in your fullness when
yeah,
you're depressed and you're stressed and you're experiencing anxiety? He don't want that for
yeah,
us. So
yes,
because I understood he has these plans for me, and there was no way I was going to get to those plans with being in that marriage, that I had to leave.
right.
I had to leave.
Mm, absolutely. Well, I say like I commend you. It takes a lot. Number one, to be self-aware, like you said, to be able to leave a situation, and it takes strength. And
It
then when
does.
you have kids, it's another layer to that because a lot of people do stay for the kids. So I
Yep.
totally commend you. Right now, I want to shift though, because I had an amazing time in your master class that you offered this past Sunday.
Thank you.
You talked about confidence annihilators and then confidence accelerators.
Mhm.
So I want to touch on, and I want you to touch on, how do we annihilate our confidence? What is confidence annihilators? By the way, if you have not, her masterclass is amazing, y'all.
Thank
So
you.
this is just a sneak peek, just a snippet.
Yeah, I thank you so much, Queen. I have a good time just sharing the information that I've just
Yeah,
learned and developed and made notes of. I always tell people I never share information from a place of judgment. I
right,
share it from a place of experience. I share it from a place of, hey, I've been there and done that, and now I want you to come through it the same way, if not better or
yeah,
quicker, right?
yeah,
Because these are things
yes,
that I had to figure out on
absolutely.
my own. So during the master class, of course, I talked about the confidence indicators, annihilators, and accelerators. So,
Yes,
of course, the indicators are just basically how they show up in our lives. Because sometimes people don't even realize a lot of our barriers or blockages that we are experiencing in life is really because it's a lack of confidence. We
mm,
don't know, like people are like, oh, I didn't know procrastination. It's a
yeah,
lack of confidence,
yeah,
right?
right,
Perfectionism, a
right.
lack of confidence. The fact that
Mm.
we don't take on certain tasks and new opportunities. It's a lack of confidence, right?
Yes,
It
yes.
shows up by way of a lack of confidence. Fear, uncertainties of the future, which means I'm not confident that I'm going to get through it, right?
Woo!
So
Yes.
That was the first part, right? So when we're talking about things that annihilate our confidence, whenever I am talking about a process, one, I need to make you aware of how they show up. Two, the things that you're doing to tear them down. And now three, I need to teach you how to build them up. Because
Yeah.
it makes no sense for me to just tell you, oh, this is how you accelerate your confidence when you're tearing them down behind the scenes.
Right,
You don't
right,
even realize it, right?
right.
So some of those confidence annihilators, they look like us belittling our accomplishments. When
Mm.
we use certain types of adjectives to describe some of the things that we do. Oh, girl, it's little. Oh,
Yeah.
no, it's just a little. It's just a little.
Or, yeah. Or like when somebody says, "Oh, I saw your little your book
Girl,
you put out." I'm like, "Look."
little, right? Those and these are some of the things. These are some of the things we even say to
And
ourselves, right?
ourselves, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's no big deal. I just, right?
Yes.
A lot of
Yes.
us use those
Right.
terminologies, just, little, oh, no big deal, right? We
Right.
really water ourselves down. And part of that is because sometimes, again, yes, it's a lack of confidence, but it's also we're walking on ice or on eggshells about who we're talking to because we don't want to sound too vain or
Mhm.
boisterous or braggadocious,
Yeah.
right? So we'll water and we'll pull ourselves down, but internally, that's tearing your confidence down. Like,
Mhm. Yeah.
oh, it was not. I just launched a book. You
Right.
just launched a
Oh,
book.
yeah. Right.
Oh, I just started a YouTube channel. Oh, you just. Oh,
Yes,
I just got a raise. A
that's a
little
big thing.
$50 raise,
I
right?
Yes, and you're right. We do it in everyday life. Oh my goodness. I'm guilty of that too.
We do.
But to your point, this year I said, and this is what I just made a commitment to myself. I said, you know what I'm gonna do? Everything that I thought I couldn't do, I'm gonna do it. Or I'm
Absolutely.
gonna say it to the max. You
Yes.
know, I'm gonna announce and I'm gonna be proud because I feel like we limit ourselves,
Absolutely.
you know?
Absolutely. And if you think about it real quickly, you think about it, you wouldn't even say some of these things to your kids, right?
Yeah,
They come with the most craziest looking arts and crafts. Baby, look at you did such a great job.
yeah,
You're giving up everything to
I
that child. But
know.
when it comes to you, you're like, oh, it was
It
no,
was
you have a little you in the inside of you. So
right,
remember,
right,
when
right,
you're saying these things, your brain is just recording. So
right.
when it comes time for you to go do something else, your brain gonna put playback. Oh, that was just a little. Oh, it's no big deal. Because
Right,
remember, you
right,
fed yourself those things, right?
right. Yeah.
Another couple of things, just quickly, when we're talking about confidence annihilators, we're talking about comparing ourselves to others. We
Yeah.
have a horrible, horrible habit of doing that. I
Mm,
like it the way I heard it on Instagram, and I like giving people their credit when it's not my stuff. I like to give people their
right,
credit.
right.
They said, stop comparing yourselves to people highlight reels.
Yes, yeah, I
Right?
saw that one too. Yeah.
You comparing your whole life to somebody's
Except,
highlight reel. So stop
yeah,
comparing yourselves to
right,
others.
right.
And that is something that really tears down our confidence, especially if you're not doing it in a positive manner. Because there's a positive way that you can compare yourself and say, oh, I aspire.
Right.
She got that going on for her. Oh, I want to do that too, right? You
Yes.
celebrate and you push that person up
Right.
while invigorating yourself, right?
Right.
Another thing we do is we devalue our skills and expertise. I hear people say, well, I'm not a public speaker. What do you mean you're not a public speaker? Are you not speaking now? I don't
Right.
care if you speak to two people, that is a public speaker. You're speaking in front of somebody besides yourself.
Right.
Not really a coach. What do you mean you're not a coach,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we devalue our skills and our expertise. You know, we're so tied to these labels and what
Mhm.
that says that I gotta be or look like, right? And we edify again unhelpful label. I'm an introvert. Stop. What? Why would you stop it?
If I
Just
had a coin, yeah, for every time somebody said that, yeah.
because what that does is it gets us off the hook from from standing up or rising to the occasion.
Right,
Oh,
right,
I'm not going to talk in front of people. I'm not going to go there because I'm an introvert. You see how that gives you an escape route.
right,
No,
right,
just say, you know what? I'm not as comfortable as I would like to be being around people. However, I am going to challenge myself. You see
right.
how those are two different things, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
those are some confidence annihilators.
Okay. Can you just give us briefly just a couple accelerators to help
Uh,
us live our best life so we
yep.
can go ahead and just wrap it up?
So a couple of accelerators is literally all of the opposites of the annihilators. So
Right.
instead of belittling your accomplishments, one of the things that I have my queens do on their sessions, the first thing we do, tell me three things that I can help you celebrate. So we need to start writing celebration journals. I don't care how small we
Right.
think that they are. If you did something, go ahead and write those things down because they become helpful.
Yeah.
When you do something and you don't get the results that you desire, you're going to be in your feelings, you're going to be in your emotions.
Yeah.
Therefore, if you have this celebration journal, if you have this confidence journal, you can easily go to it and start reading how really awesome you are so that you can understand, man, I'm doing
Right.
this thing. I'm living my
Right.
best life, right?
Right.
I am
Right.
awesome at this,
Right.
right? Another thing is affirmations, affirmations,
Yes. 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 Yes.
never.
Yes. Yes.
Affirmations
That's my thing.
every day.
Listen, that's my thing.
Affirmations are extremely important to
Yes.
accelerating your confidence. Everything that we say are affirmations anyway. They
Yes.
need to be intentional, they
Mm.
need to be positive, they need to be repetitive,
Yes.
right? Because one of the things that I talked about of how we harden these beliefs, these things that we believe about ourselves, is
Yes.
by way of repetition. So
Yes.
the more that you say positive things back to yourself, it's like,
Yes.
oh, okay, yes, I can do that. I can do that, right?
Right. Right.
Another, and this is the last thing that I'll say when it comes to accelerators, is gratitude.
Yes.
Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude.
Yes.
People take gratitude for granted.
Listen.
Be happy and grateful for what you
Mhm.
have.
Yeah.
It's almost like a child that asked for something and they didn't even tell you thank you for the last thing. Well, why would I
Yeah.
give you more?
Yeah.
Why would I give you more? You're
Yeah.
sounding entitled. So gratitude will really boost your confidence. Like, look, God, thank you so much for
Yes.
this car that I do have, right? Thank you
Yes.
so much for the breath that I have. Thank you so much for
Yes.
this physical activity.
Yes.
It
Yes.
really starts to give you this light bulb moment goes off like,
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
not too bad off, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
those are just a couple of things.
That is amazing. Like, I mean, you hit everything right on the head, like as far as giving us life or living our best life, because I do believe that that is what we were put here to do. We were put here to prosper
Absolutely.
and find our purpose and be in alignment so that guess what? I can help the next person because we're
Absolutely.
all connected at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
A last thing I want to ask of you
Okay.
is if you can give us maybe an affirmation that you always repeat to yourself, or even a couple
Mhm.
affirmations that have helped you in your life. I'm big on affirmations. I write down
Mhm.
affirmations every day. I got
Mhm.
my I am app,
Mhm.
morning, midday, at the end of the day, because I know how important that is. Can you give us some affirmations that have helped you, Coach Vaughn?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I have a couple that I really love, and this was one of the ones that I actually came up with, especially going through my transition,
Okay.
right? Through my divorce and my separation and my divorce and all of that. But I still use it to this day, and it's one of my favorites. It's called the positive perspective statement. The
Mm,
positive
okay.
perspective statement. It says, be patient but persistent,
Mm,
remembering it's a process, celebrating the progress. So you got to do all four.
wow.
You have to do all four. Sometimes we're patient, but we're not persistent. I'm just going to sit here and wait on God. No, you need to be persistent too. Keep it moving. forward. Keep your
Yes.
toes moving, right? Be patient but persistent.
Yeah.
Remembering it's a process. Everything that we go through, the true treasure is in the process.
Right.
That's where all of the gems
Yes.
lie.
Yes.
It's what am I learning along the way? Because
Yes.
these are the things that are actually developing me, right?
Yes.
But also, of course, celebration, but you gotta
Yes.
celebrate your progress because it's going to be a great reminder that I am a little bit further than I was before. Okay. So that one is a big one. And this
Yes.
other
I
one,
really like that one.
this one I absolutely love. I actually wrote it for my butterfly queens.
Okay.
And you can take this one and dissect it line by line, or you can do it together as a whole. It's called the Butterfly Atrium Creed. It talks about, and this is a perfect way to end off living your best life here. This is a perfect way to talk about living your best life. It's I honor my commitment to my
Mm,
body, mind, and spirit, that I will only partake and extend that of honesty, love, and true commitment. I
mm,
understand that I have full control of what I allow in it. I have the power, the wisdom, and the foresight to dismiss anything that does not align with it. I will accomplish all that I put in front of me. I beckon the support I desire to stand firmly beside me. Doubt, fear, obstacles are way beneath me. My
mm,
mind, my greatest asset in which I harness peace and clarity. We do not back down at the first sign of adversity. This only inspires me, ignites me, and increases my propensity to
mm,
pursue with no blinders or brakes on. It's my destiny. I possess some of the same energy from the greatness that's above. I already have what it takes. It's even more stronger than love.
mm,
I am created for greatness. Nor you have to agree. I am confident. I am deserving. All of this and more is declared, and I decree. I honor my commitment to myself.
Woo, Queen! Listen!
That's
Oh,
what you gotta say all
listen!
the
You
time.
listen, you gave me, I'm going to live my best life. Okay. That was amazing. Thank you so much. Before we leave, I hope that you, my listeners, I hope that you receive that. You know, I always say, may you always be believing so that you can receive.
Mhm.
Coach Vaughn, where can we find you? Give us your Instagram. What you have brewing? What's next? Like,
Thank you so much, Queen. Again, thank you so much. This was a phenomenal conversation. I truly appreciate and love collaboration. I believe absolutely we are stronger together. It's definitely not about competition. We can all celebrate and champion each other because the world needs us all. The
yes,
world absolutely needs us all.
absolutely.
So you keep being amazing and doing what it is that you do, touching the people
Thank
that you touch as well. So I definitely wanted to say that. I can
thank
be
you.
found on all social medias: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Clubhouse, LinkedIn, and Twitter. I'm not really on Twitter like that, y'all. Just holler at me
Okay,
on IG. I prefer IG at
okay,
Life Coach Vaughn. That's at LifeCoachVon. So I'm on all of those platforms at Life Coach Vaughn, as well as on YouTube as well. You can go to my website, and I am super excited about the rebranding that is taking place on that. Y'all,
yeah,
this site is bad here.
okay. I gotta come. Yes.
It's definitely different from where it is, and I can't wait to truly launch that. But you can still reach me on my previous site. It's www.lifecoachvon.me. And all of my products, affirmation cards, I have the Fly Abundance deck. That is these beauties right here. They
Wow.
are for financial abundance. I have 45-day fly journal. Just anything again for
Yes.
you to first love yourself, finding, discovering who you are at your core, and living. out your passion and purpose. So I believe that's all. Yeah, I got a whole bunch of things in the works. Y'all just connect with me.
Okay, yes, yes. And we will link all of her information below. Thank you so much for joining us. And may you always let love be your guide in life, today, forever, and always. I love you guys. Bye.
Bye.